Blast me to the mortal realms. It's time for the Mad Merlins Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer video review of issue 31 by Hachette Partworks and Games Workshop. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Stormbringer video. So we're finally getting on with the next delivery and we're going to take a look first off with issue 31. So before we dive in, don't forget to do all our usual, which is like the video if you are enjoying the content, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and why not drop a comment down below, let me know how you're getting on with your Stormbringer. So yeah, today we have issue 31 and it's a pretty cool issue because we get 5 Vigilors. We also learn about the Seraphon and we have a brand new battle plan. So this is only half the box of Vigilors. I believe you get 10 in a full box, but we get 5 in this issue. So for less than half price, it's pretty good, pretty worth it, I think. So yeah, we'll take a look at those in a minute. So let's dive in then to issue 31. Here we go, issue 31. So, wonderful magazine there. So yeah, got Chaos facing off against the Stormcast there. And there we have our Vigilor Prime. So, we'll take a look at this frame. With the frame, we also get 5 40mm bases for our models. So, pretty handy. Or else they won't stand up. And yeah, here we have our frame. So quite a few components on here. So we've got plenty of bare heads, helmeted heads. You've got various different extra shoulder pads. There's 2 different ways you can pose each model, which is good. So you can either have sword and bow or just bow. There's one drawing an arrow, there's one knocking an arrow, I believe, into the bow. There's one that's got like a bit of tactical plan readout there. And there's even one that is going to draw a bow from their quiver, which is pretty cool. So yeah, lots of ways to personalize this unit. And yeah, a very fun looking Stormcast unit. We've got plenty of extra sword hilts for if we are building them swords away, which is pretty good. Yeah, really fun looking models. Some of the better ones, I think, in the Stormcast range. I like how they got the robes and the cloaks. It really helps set them apart and make them look a little less like just a chunk of armor. Gives them a whole lot more character, I think. But yeah, we'll have a look at how to put these together inside the issue. Speaking of the issue, here we have issue 31. So, our full contents, we learn about the Seraphon, we continue learning about the Dawnbringer Crusades, we learn about the Forges of Creation within the Realm of Heavens. We have our collect, build and paint articles for the Vigilors. We also have a play article for the Vigilors with their rules. And our latest mission is Into the Maw. So we start by looking at the Seraphon, one of easily my favourite factions within Warhammer Age of Sigmar. The Seraphon are starfaring warriors created by mysterious powers eons ago to be the ultimate weapon against chaos. While reptilian in appearance, the cold-blooded warriors of the Seraphon are disciplined and focused. They will not stop until corruption has been scoured from the realms with blade, tooth and claw. So in the world that was, these guys were known as the Lizardmen of Lustria. And yet they look fantastic. Now they've had a range update to properly fit into the Age of Sigmar range. And they are, like I said, easily one of my favourite factions you can play in Age of Sigmar. I love the ferocious lizardmen. I love the Aztec theming to their weapons. And of course they have plenty of dinosaurs. So yeah. The leaders of the Seraphon are the Slann, giant frog-like creatures with immense magical power rivaling that of the gods. Most numerous of the warriors within it are the Saurus. Here we see a Saurus Sunblood with his massive war shield, scarred face. Also are the diminutive Skinks, who are a mixture of chieftains and wizards and skirmishing units that will scout ahead of the enemy forces. They also goad beasts into battle, such as the mighty Engine of the Gods, which sits atop a Stegodon here. And yeah, pretty cool. You've got a Skink Chief riding on top with a load of crew with blowpipes and stuff as well. There are also many other creatures like the ferocious salamander or the spawn of Kotek, which it's now known, which spews forth flaming blobs of acid at the opponents, goaded on by some skink handlers. So, moving on to our history then, we have page 7, and we start a bit more in-depth look at the Stormbringer Crusades. Despite Sigmar's early victories, much of the mortal realms remains wild, dangerous, and cruel. It falls to the brave Stormbringer Crusades to once again make the realms a place in which mortals can live. So, during the Sigmar's first attempt to cleanse the realms of chaos, they faced mainly against beastmen and savage tribes of humans, but even them, they weren't slain easily. They have come back and will now raid any chance that the humans will try to settle in the realms. The Stormbringer Crusades are heavy military forces, combining men, elves, dwarven, and even stormcast, to set forth, create new civilizations, new cities, and make the world a better place. So here we have a few of the different crusades. So there's crusades in Gur. Expeditions into the realms of beasts require clever hardy folk. Expert hunters and trappers are assigned to these crusades to protect them from beasts of Gur. Crusades in Ulgu. Stormbringer crusades here face constant danger and can never truly know if they are safe. There's the dealings of the clans Eshin, the Moon Clan Grots, and of course their own allies, the Daughters of Cain, and even murderous cultists of Slanesh. Crusades in Shaman are often heralded and led by the Caradron Overlords, and it is Tzeentch's favourite realm as it's always changing, so there's always flocks of Zangors, demons of Tzeentch, etc. And then crusades into Akshi most often are led by human generals and warriors, and their most common enemy is Khorne, who loves the blood and lava within that realm. Moving on then, we look at the Forges of Creation. So this is where Sigmar will construct weapons and even reforge the Stormcast when they die. So Azir is home to a vast network of magical forges. Here weapons, armour and the souls of the Stormcast Eternals are refined and remade by master artisans. Metal from the core of a fallen world, the energy of living storms and more are combined to create the tools that will liberate the mortal realms. So yeah, a giant spacefaring city has been set up around the world that was, which is now giving its remaining energy into the forges, where the weapons of the Stormcast and even the Dwarden and Elves of the mortal realms are forged. So there are 6 smiths, the Flight of Souls. So the Stormcast Eternals are made and reforged by the 6 smiths, a mysterious conclave of demigods who serve both Sigmar and Grungni, the Dwarden god of metal. Every day they toil tirelessly to reforge fallen Stormcast Eternals, so these warriors may return to the realms and continue the God King's eternal war. So yeah, the Flight of Souls, whenever a soul is slain and released within a battle, if it's not snatched by Nagash, and if they are deemed a valiant hero, they are often set free and claimed by Sigmar and forged into a new Stormcast. When a Stormcast dies, they are hit by a bolt of lightning, which will then send their soul and armor and weapons back up to Azir to be reforged. And duty unending is the eternal service of a Stormcast. They will always be at war, even after they die and find. But hopefully when they find peace, though, things might be a little different. Next up, we have a look at our Vigilors. So this is their unit record. Vigilors act as rangers, pathfinders, and vital missile support units for the Stormcast Eternals. They venture ahead of the main force, mapping out territory and identifying weak spots in the enemy line. They excel at swiftly cutting down enemies, whether with magical arrows or deadly blades. So yeah, we got a table to roll on for their unit origin and also their trait. And we can name them using our naming chart found on collection page A1. And then we got the great deeds, so when they complete a specific deed in battle, we can tick it off there to say they've done it. Next up then, we have our build guide. So we build 5 Vigilors, one of which is a prime. And it looks like the magazine is going to tell us to build them one particular way, which would be helpful for following the paint guide. But I've kind of set my heart on different setups for these guys. I kind of want them to all be swords away and have their bows at the ready where I can. So I'm probably going to have to seek the instructions online to put mine together when I get around to it. But once you've built them, they will look something like this. So we have our Vigilor Prime. We've got one there with a little map / orders. And we have 3 other Vigilors, each with sword and bow out. Moving on to our paint guide, it will be painting much the way we painted all our other Stormcast. So after getting a base coat of Retribute armor all over the model, we want to start picking out the leather joints, pouches, etc. with Abaddon Black. So this is also the gloves of the Stormcast and any other areas of fabric on the undersuit. And even the top knot here on this Stormcast, paint their hair black, ready for later highlights. We then use Corax White to pick out all the undersides of the cloaks, and then Carntor Blue to pick out the outside of the cloaks and robes, as well as the left shoulder pad there, left and right shoulder pad. The Prime will of course have the full gold shoulder pad. Then using Catch and Flesh to pick out any leather straps and belts, as well as the arrows and the actual bow itself, as well as the quiver case. As you see here, looks like they've only done a 1 layer so far, so you definitely want to put at least a couple of layers on the back of the quivers. You can see here it looks more complete there. Yeah, also pick out your scabbards, pick out some hair and skin, so we have a good variety of choices within our army. So the fletchings on the arrows are picked out with Lead Belcher, as are the sword blades. Using Wraithbone to pick out the flesh and the string of the bow, as well as any ropes hanging off the waist and parchment. Then we're using Baraknar Burgundy for the exposed grip that we see here, as well as any sword grips. Mephiston Red for the Prime's helm. Then Corax White to pick out the shoulder pad icons on each one. And then we're starting to shade. So Mephiston Red areas are shaded with Agrax Earthshade. And that's it for the moment, as we only have that one shade. But we are ready and set up to use a few new shades that we get in future issues. But when you are completed, your Vigilors will look like that. And yeah, they look fantastic. Quite an imposing force. Yeah, I don't like I said in the build guide, I don't like the drawn sword and bow. I usually prefer one weapon stowed and one weapon being active and dominant. Which is why I'm going to be building a lot of mine with the alternate posing that you can get to each one. Moving on, we have a War Scroll for the Vigilors. So they have a move of 6, 4+ save, 2 wounds, and bravery of 7. Their Stormcaller bow, it has 2 attacks at 18-inch range, 3 to hit, 3 to wound, -1 rend, and 1 damage. And they have 2 attacks of their Storm Blades at range 1, 3+ to hit and wound, -1 rend, and 1 damage. So we have a Vigilor Prime who adds 1 to his attacks with the bow. And we have Navigators of the Storm. So in your shooting phase, if any wounds caused by attacks made by this unit's Stormcaller bows are allocated to an enemy unit, add 1 to the hit rolls for attacks that target that unit until the end of that turn. The same unit cannot be affected by the ability more than once per turn. So that's cool. It makes them a little more deadly and easier for the opponents, the rest of the army, to take down the targeted unit. And on the back, we have a tutorial for Navigators of the Storm. So as you see, they inflict 2 wounds on the Slog-Off here, which means when the chariot next strikes with its bow in the shooting phase, it gets a chance to add 1 to the wound roll, so 2s instead of 3s. And here in the fight phase, we see Guard of Steel Soul wounding it 5 times. 1 fails, but 2+ now actually counts as wounding, thanks to the Vigilors. For our Battle of the Week, we have Into the Maw. So we see our forces of the Alliance of Order, led by the Knight Arcanum, Lord Imperatant, with the Stormstrike Chariot, 5 Vigilors, 6 Gryph-hounds, 5 Vindictors, and 4 Praetors. Facing off against our Alliance of Destruction, the Killboss of Stabgrot, Stormcaller Shaman, 10 Gut Rippers, 2 units of 10 Hobgrot Slitters, and our Slog-Off. And we have a Maw line down the centre of the battlefield here. So we have a special rule for the Maw. At the end of each battle round, roll a dice and add the number of the current battle round. On a 7 or more, the Maw opens, then crunches down upon your army. Any models standing on the Maw line are slain. So yeah, pretty nasty little rule here, but pretty cool game nonetheless. So yeah, have fun with it. You score points for controlling the objectives. And yeah, it's a little bit better than just killing everybody. Pretty cool. So yeah, you get to place the terrain from the primal layer anywhere you want, as long as it's 3 inches away from an objective and any other scenery piece. So yeah. Moving on to our next issue then, we have a biggie. Issue 32 comes with a whopping 20 models. True, it'll take 2 of these said models to make one of the Vigilors, but still, it's a mighty issue. So we get 20 Moon Clan shooters, which can also be built as stabbers if you want to add an extra unit to your Moon Clan's army. Yeah, these are a fairly old kit. They come from the days of Warhammer Fantasy, and they were the Moon Clan Forest Night Goblins at the time. And yeah, pretty cool models. They at least represent a good stature of a goblin. They're pretty cool. We get some nets, we get command units, so a noisemaker, a banner, and a champion there. Yeah. Next up then, in issue 33, we have the Knight Judicator. So this is a Vigilor or Judicator from the older Stormcast range, who has become a lone warrior and now fights on their own with a massive bow and his 2 loyal Gryph-hounds. So really cool model. I'm looking forward to getting this guy. But that's it for this issue. So I believe this issue did pose a problem where it was a very popular issue, as so did 32. So these issues did sell out quite quickly, and I believe these are the reason we've had the notice that our subscription is delayed while they reprint fresh stock. Hopefully it does come out soon, because I would like to pick up another set of these guys just so I can have a full unit of 10. And I'm also planning on picking up a second issue of the Vanquishers with the double-handed swords as well. They look quite nice. Definitely 2 units I'd like to have for my Stormcast army. But yeah, there we have it. We got some nice lore. We got some really cool looking models, and a pretty fun little mission to play through as well. So it's nice that the paint guides are getting a little more in depth as well now that we got more paints and we have more to do in each issue. Yeah, let me know what you thought of this video in the comment section down below. Let me know how you've also got on with your Vigilors. And don't forget, of course, there's all the links in the video description down below, including the Patreon page where you can help support the channel. There are plenty more videos to come, as I've also not long received my latest delivery for D&D Adventurer, so there will be plenty of videos coming for that. It will take a little longer to get those videos out, as I do have to do a bit of editing to get them up to the quality I want to do more future videos in. But for these videos, I'm happy to just get them filmed and posted straight up from my phone. So yeah, there we go. Thank you all again for watching, and I'll see you next time for more Stormbringer video reviews. Thank you, and goodbye.